Welcome to the Health and Wealth Power Hour, the podcast that provides you with the knowledge and insights you need to achieve physical, mental, and financial well-being. I'm your host, Arlen Pickett, a business consultant who's passionate about helping people achieve a more balanced and healthier life. Each week, we'll deep dive into topics related to health and wealth, including retirement income planning, innovative healthcare solutions, alternative funded health plans, and specific actions individuals and business owners can take to gain control of their finances, have access to affordable quality health care, and achieve peace of mind. We'll also be joined by innovative experts who will share their knowledge and insights on prevalent topics. So, whether you're looking to grow your wealth or improve your health, you've come to the right place. Get ready to be informed, inspired, and empowered. Let's get started. All right, gang, it is time for another exciting episode of the Health and Wealth Power Hour. I am your host, Arlen Pickett. In our attempt to continue till you never know what you're going to get, baby, and we got one for you today. But I'll tell you what, everyone has a problem, no matter where you are in life, whether you're still in business, whether you put business behind and you're retired, whether you're still in school and maybe you're going to start business. Well, if you're in school, this one's going to be real big for you, I promise you. We all have a huge problem with one particular thing: goals. Unless you're Michael Jordan, you have a hard time hitting goals. But, you know, it's interesting I say that, and it just kind of struck me that he has a certain drive that many people do not have, and they don't understand why. But today we're going to really dig into why goals are so difficult, in many cases to set, but almost in every single case to obtain and reach those goals. Why do people fail in their diets? You know, why do we look at the beginning of the year, right, and you see all these things, we're like, you know what, I'm making the resolution to do this year, and that'll last maybe for a couple of weeks if you're lucky. Might just last a couple of days. You might just keep putting it off and say, I'm going to make this resolution, but I'm going to start tomorrow. And it just echoes for the rest of the year because you never did anything. We're going to give you insights today, not from me, but from someone that actually can help you. How about that? This man's had an incredible life, an incredible journey, and the most incredible part may be from where he came from and what he had to give him a head start, which was nothing. Absolutely nothing. Welcome aboard the Health and Wealth Power Hour. It is such an honor and pleasure to have you, Terry L. Bolton, to have with us today. Terry.
Arlen, thanks so much for having me, man. I appreciate you having me. I appreciate what you're doing to inspire people out there, the health, wealth, wellness, and give them the real deal. You know, there's a lot of these shows out there, and they're full of fluff and smoke and mirrors, quite frankly. You're the real deal, and I think your listeners appreciate that, and I certainly do. So let's have some fun here, man. Let's help some people.
Yes, sir. Thank you so very much, Terry. But before we jump into, I love hearing stories of people that have overcome anything, really, whether it is some of the folks that we've talked about that have been injured in war, lost parts of their body, and then we're able to overcome that, whether they've overcome terrible relationships, overcoming things and turning tragedy or hopelessness into huge accomplishments. I think people need to hear those things because it really helps set us apart in the fact that we can do this. You hear someone that overcame something that is so much worse than what you have, you can many times make the connection and say, oh my gosh, well, if Terry could do that from here, look at all the opportunities that I've been given to start from a totally different place. So talk a little bit about where you're from and, man, some of the crazy tragedy that you had as a youngster to get you to the spot that you are now?
Well, you bet, Arlen. I think everybody is fighting a battle. Like Philo of Alexandria said, be kind, for everyone we meet is fighting a great battle. Everybody listening here is fighting a great battle. We all have things in our background. We all have things going on right now. Everybody is. What I'm here to tell you, if you're listening, is that can be your best asset. I don't know very many people, if any, who haven't gone through any adversity, any challenges that are worth their weight in fertilizer, that are strong people. Those who have gone through the adversity, gone through the tough times, they're the ones who have gone through the fire and turned into steel. So if you're one of those people, understand it is an advantage. And we're going to talk about exactly how. This isn't just theory. We're going to talk about how you are going to use that to your big advantage. Let me tell you how. What Arlen's referring to is, and there's been people in worse circumstances than mine, but I was raised in literally the poorest city in the entire United States of America. You've heard of it, McAllen, Texas, a small Mexico-Texas border town. You've seen it in the news, the border crossings, the cartels coming across, killing people. And don't get me wrong, I love my hometown. I really do. But it can be a little rough growing up there sometimes with all the gangs and the drugs. In fact, I was in my backyard one night. I was 14 years old. And I'm in my backyard, and you hear a noise in my back alley. Now, if you're from my neighborhood, you hear a noise, you get out, right? It's like jumping over my back fence with all the bluster of a 14-year-old boy. Now, understand, that's a bad idea. You don't want to be in my back alley at that time of night. But it got worse. It got worse when these headlights hit me. Now, headlights is bad because headlights means a car. A car probably means an adult. An adult in my back alley at that time of night, we got a drug deal going on, or robbery, or something much worse, none of which they want a 14-year-old witness to. And there I am, completely exposed in the headlights, this 14-year-old boy. It got worse. It got worse when the guy walked out in front of those headlights with the assault rifle and aimed it right at me. 14 years old, wondering if my next breath is going to be my last one. So that's why I was in junior high. When I was in high school, my dad, was killed. Before he died, one of the neighbors came up to him and said, I just want to make sure you understand something. Those three boys of yours, your three sons, listen, Merlin, not a single one of them's ever going to grow up to be anything. Now, Dad was a horse sharecropper before he got a job that brought us down to McAllen. And I don't say, in fact, this is the first time I think I've said this in public. He's the son of an alcoholic. And he's doing the best he can, man. And so are we. We all have something in our background. But let me tell you what happened and how it's going to affect you who's listening. Okay? Now, I tried, okay? I learned all the positive motivation I could, all the self-improvement, all the tapes, all the videos, all the seminars, I filled my brain, man, because I'm going to get out of that. And I actually started a little business. And guess what? I sucked. I was horrible. I did not run a business. I just come out of the military. I had no idea what I was doing, but I tried and I failed. And I tried and I failed. And I tried and I tried. And I reached a point where I just couldn't fail anymore. I gave up. Now, Harlan, I walked into the bathroom. I looked at myself in the mirror. So he's right. You're never going to grow up to be anything. No. For the sake of the memory of my dad, if nothing else, I refuse to let that son of a gun be right. I refuse. And then something clicked inside of me. I got pissed off. And I got up and I brushed myself off. I got back at it again. Listen, for all your adversity, use it. Everything in your background, use it to your advantage. It pissed me off. So I started going for those goals again, not just for some pie in the sky, positive visualization, bunnies and unicorns, carrot, that I never believed would happen to a kid like me. But now I had something to go away from, not just something towards, something to go from the stick, something much more powerful. Never grow up to be anything. So when I hit those naysayers and those setbacks and everything else, I didn't care, because there's no way in God's green earth I was going to let that happen. I would do whatever it took. And the oxcart technique was born. Back to you.
Lots of adversity there. But I believe what will resonate with people is, I want to step back a second though. And you mentioned you were in the military, and just for context here, you weren't just in the military, you were an officer in the military and a leader of a pretty elite squadron, as it were. And you can talk about that if you want to. I'm just giving some context here to say you didn't come out of the military with a couple, 2 or 4 years of service, and you just did it because you did it, and then you got out, and then you failed at business. Now, you had been extremely successful in your military career, at a high level in your military career, and then you came into business and you failed.
Harlan, I love you picked up on that. You're the first person ever to pick up on that. Finish what you, I think I know where you're going to go with that. Finish up what you're about to say.
My point is, I think of how many people that have been very successful, they work for someone else. Because what do they teach you actually in business? Go to work for someone else, doing what you want to do. Once you've figured it out, then go do it yourself. Great idea, great concept, and people fail every single day when they do it. What you went to do had nothing to do with anything in the military. How much, right? Yeah, I hear that all the time from military people. Well, didn't learn anything that actually I could use when I was out in the workforce. But you did learn one thing, how to succeed. You learned how to succeed. If you would not have, you would have never reached the levels that you did in the military. You learned how to lead. You learned how to succeed. It helped you not at all when you got into the real world. So even if you have all of the training and all of the schooling and all of those things, and you step into business, expect to fail. Because
thank you.
It's going to happen. And when you do, you can't let that be the end. Exactly whenever you finally gave up and said, dadgummit, the guy next door was right. Until you realized the guy next door was not. And the naysayers told you couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many people have left companies to go do it themselves, and they didn't make it, and everyone from there to say, we knew you couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And in the back of your mind, you always were worried about that too, and that actually helped you not to succeed.
Yeah. Yep. Well done, man. Well done. That's exactly, it was an incredibly blessed career. Incredibly blessed. I won't go into it, but yeah, it was crazy blessed. And then got off on my own in a whole different ball game. So I'm glad you really pinpointed that and brought that up. It is a different world. In fact, I just got off a veteran podcast, actually. We talked a little bit about that, but they didn't pinpoint it like you did. It's a whole different thing. Sticking to those goals is the thing. We all write down goals. We all know what we're supposed to do to succeed, whether it's business or our marriage or our health or addiction. We all know what we're supposed to do. But here's the problem. And we can start getting into this if you like.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's have some fun, y'all. Let's get into it here. I want to start by dispelling some myths on goal setting. Because listen to me. 92% of the people who set a goal fail. 92%. And there's a reason why. 74% of the diets fail, 50% of marriages fail, and on and on and on and on. And there's a reason why. Why? Because most of what we've been taught about goal setting is either incorrect or completely wrong. Listen, if you've done any motivational stuff at all, you've heard of the Harvard goal setting study. Been written in #1 best-selling books on New York Times, been told by very famous people from stages, everything else. The Harvard goal setting study says a lot of different things, including 100% of the people who wrote down their goals in this study reached them. 100%. That's fantastic. It was true, but it's not. It never happened. Somebody made it up. Harvard's confirmed it never happened. So it's Yale that has been attributed to, et cetera, et cetera. And somebody, it's wrong. Somebody made it up. It's been said so many times that people believe it's true. It's not. Writing down your goals is important, but it's not enough. Next, positive visualization. Important, okay, but not enough. What we've all been taught, what I used to teach, is that you visualize it and you focus on that. You do it in present tense, how amazing it's going to be when you reach your goal. Okay, let's talk science. There's something called prospect theory. Tversky came up with it. It won the Nobel Prize when applied to economics. I'm applying it to goal setting. What it taught us is that we will do more to avoid pain than to go toward pleasure. Again, we'll do more to avoid pain than to go toward pleasure. For instance, I've done a lot of stuff all around the world in the wilderness. I'm one of those weirdos like you see on TV. In fact, you did if you watched the survival show I was on. But I can chase a bear pretty quickly to get a good picture of a grizzly. I've got some really cool grizzly shots. I can run pretty fast to chase that bear and do it. You know what I can run faster, Harlan? When the bear is chasing me, people do more to avoid pain than to go toward pleasure. I associate pain with our comfort zone. It's all about getting out of your comfort zone each and every day, several times a day. We associate pain with getting out of our comfort zone. So no matter how much pleasure of our positive visualization, it's not enough to get us out of our comfort zone. So what happened to me? And let's bring it back down to my story. What happened to me? Because I tried all that positive visualization, the dream boards, the beaches of the world, all that kind of stuff. It didn't do it for me. It didn't do it. What finally did it is when I hit that low point, I got pissed off, and I said, I'm not going to let that happen. Instead of the carrot, something to go toward, I had the stick, something to go away from, which created more pain than the pain of my comfort zone. Therefore, kicking me out of my comfort zone and towards my success zone. Never going to grow up to be anything. There's no way in hell I'm going to let that guy be right. I refuse. It ain't going to happen. I'll do whatever it takes, right? What does it take? Okay, that's my daily action plan. That's my bridge between failure to success. If I do these things, this won't happen. The bad stuff, the negative, the stick won't happen. And if I do these things, the carrot will. I put up 3 pieces of paper. I call it the oxcart technique. There's a parable to it. You can watch my TED Talk, hit number 2 in the world. Yes, my TED Talk. Just search Terry Fossum TED Talk. You'll find it. And talks about the parable. It's in the book also. About how using both of those things made me stick to my plan because it's all about creating emotion. Emotion, not fact, is the driver of all action. As long as you create enough emotion, you'll make it happen. But you can't do that with just the positive visualization. Beaches of the world, big houses. Number one, ain't going to happen to a kid like me. That ain't going to happen. Yeah, but it can't happen to me. Yeah, but I'm from McAllen. Yeah, but I'm not a salesman. Yeah, but. And number 2, I don't care about that crap. I'm the happiest in a tent. So show me a big house. I don't care. Now, I've got it all now, but that's not what got me there. Using both of those things together is what the oxcart technique's all about, is what did it for me, and now a whole lot of other people, including number 1 best-selling book on Wall Street Journal, which blew me away, and Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
But all of that being said, you didn't get there just because of the mindset change. You had to take some actions as well. I get getting pissed off, right? I get that. I think there's been a lot of people that certainly got pissed off because they failed. But what we typically do when that happens is start blaming everyone but ourselves, right? I mean, that's what we do. It is everyone else's fault. I made this great product and people didn't buy it. It's their fault, not mine.
Right. So you guys listen to Harlan. You guys know Harlan. We actually just met not long before this podcast. So you know the insights this guy's got. I'm just learning. Very, very insightful. You're exactly correct. And that's why a technique is so critically important. we could just have these negative emotions and they tear us down. But if you use the technique to actually harness them, then they can be so powerful for you in conjunction with the positive emotions. It's got to be that as well. The carrot along with the stick. That's why it's so important. We'll touch on this here, but everybody go get the book, go onto my website, learn more about it. If you go to thegoalsecret.com, I've got free explanations, free videos on it, free everything for you. Go to there too. He'll put it in the link. So does that help answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's thegoalsecret.com. You guys can go out there and kind of learn more of that. And we'll talk some more about it today too. I want to bring something. There's times that we have a little bit younger group that will listen to this as well. So while it's very much part of what we grew up understanding, the carrot and the stick, folks, is a very interesting way of saying, do you want the reward? The carrot or the stick, which is the opposite of the reward. And that's just that. I love that terminology because I use it quite honestly all the time, Terry. I use the carrot and the stick all the time, but it's amazing how many times I get looks from some of my younger folks when I'm speaking in person, and they're like, what does a carrot and a stick have to do with anything? Yeah. Okay. So if you're out there and don't know what the carrot or stick is.
And for that audience, go onto watch my TED Talk. Y'all watch those things, and you'll hear the parable that the oxcart comes from and talks about the carrot and the stick. You'll see exactly, it'll really internalize. You'll see exactly what we're talking about there. Or, of course, read the book. It's in the book right up front, too.
Yeah. And it's so interesting you talk about it in that manner because we literally do it to ourselves. There's typically no one that punishes their self worse than your own self.
Amen. Amen.
Right?
Yeah.
You typically punish yourself and you will take your own carrots away. You will literally take your own carrots away and punish yourself because in many cases you don't think you're good enough or you failed again. And don't we see this over and over and over in the diets? You talked about how 74% of diets fail.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you look in in the world that I work in the healthcare and world right now, you look at the prevalence of everyone wanting these weight loss drugs.
Right.
Because they want that easy button, right? Oh, it's a carrot and I don't have to do anything. Carrot, 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 carrot. Give me the carrot. There is no stick. Well, there's a stick there. You just didn't read all the fine print about adaptation and all the other stuff it does. But that's just kind of an example of people keep failing in a certain thing, in this case, weight loss, and they finally give up in essence, and they're just looking for the easiest way because they don't have a process, right? The process is always whatever the next Hollywood diet is, or whatever the next fad diet is, or whatever the next is.
Yeah. 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 That's exactly correct. You don't need to have those drugs. You don't need to have any artificial things. You don't need any outside anything unless it is helping you in part of your daily action plan. A personal trainer, a dietitian, somebody's going to help you learn what those things are. And in most goals, including that, it's easy to know what to do. If we talk about business goals, you know what you got to do, or weight loss, or marriage. But it's sticking to it over the long run. That's the whole thing.
It is.
Stick to it. Yeah.
It is. And once again, turning any negative emotion into a positive thing, because you can do that. But when you keep piling them on top of each other, it gets harder. But that's what this oxcart, that's what this is, right? What it's giving you is a process to turn that around.
100%. It's problem solution format. So the way you do this, let's get into some specifics for y'all. And you're in San Antonio, I'm from McAllen, so we can say y'all.
You can say y'all, absolutely.
For everybody, for all you guys listening in here. Okay. Here's the way you do it. First of all, it's 3 pieces of paper. That's all this is. And it's kind of interesting. I've had somebody that did their PhD dissertation on prospect theory look into it. I wanted them to disprove it. I wanted them to prove me wrong because that's true scientific research. And when he came back with, Terry, you're dead on here. Like, oh my gosh. much. Okay, we've got to put this into a book. We've got to get this out there. It's going to help too many people. 3 pieces of paper, because he came back and said that Einstein said genius making things complicated simple. And he went on to say, and that's exactly what Fossum's done in his book, which blew me away. But it really is 3 pieces of paper. That's all it is. The first one, you write down your failure scenario. Emotion is not fact, is the cause of all action. Make it emotional. Create that emotion that'll make you want to take the action. Next piece of paper is your daily action plan. Here's the steps I'll take. I'll do whatever it takes to make sure this doesn't happen. What does it take? Bam, here's what it takes. Third piece of paper is the success scenario, the carrot. Here's how I'll make positive visualization. Here's how amazing it's going to be when I reach my goal. Problem solution format. So you start, just like any good movie, et cetera, et cetera. You start with the problem, create that negative emotion. Here's my bridge between the negative to the positive, between failure and success, and end up feeling great, the happy ending to the movie, if you will. And that's where you leave there first. I mean, just supercharged if you have done this right, if you follow the technique appropriately. You read it every morning, keeps you to your goal every day. At the end of the day, you read it, how did I do? And if you did a little more towards the left, when I'm working with my personal coaching, they tell you a little more of a left day today, failure scenario, but tomorrow, they have more of a right day, like, all right, brother, we got you. We got you. You're back on track. Doing it in that format, make sure that you're not left with the negative emotions, that you're left with those positive emotions. And again, it's been so helpful for so many people. And that's why I want to just help continue to get the word out, because I know there's people like me out there who are struggling, who might be at their wits' end, thinking that it is them, that they can't do it because of their background, because of their inability, because of whatever it might be, when the truth is, you're just not following a good technique that'll get you there. And that's why I want to teach as many people this technique as possible. So, like me, I can help people like me.
Okay, so a couple of questions. Whenever you're going through this, and I know the book gets certainly into the weeds then, right? It's going to get a whole lot more. But we're not talking about general goals here, right? We're talking about some pretty specific things, some very specific things that you want to accomplish, that you need to do. Your day-to-day routine on your middle piece of paper, it doesn't say work hard.
Right. Absolutely. Specifics. Absolute specifics. Every step of the way. Yes.
What am I going to do today? Right? What is the problem, or what is the goal? What do I want? Right? And over here on the third page, once again, it's the carrots. What is this going to give me? Whatever that looks like for you. Maybe it's the big house. Maybe it's not.
Right.
Maybe I just want to be able to pay my bills this month. I just want to be, whatever it looks like, right? I just want to have this. And if I'm not mistaken, I would assume, I know you're not supposed to, by the way, Jerry.
Don't say it.
This is a living document.
100%. 100%. It's in the book. Living document. Absolutely. Revise. But let's give some actual specifics here for everybody. So if you're having trouble, and by the way, in the book, we've got different people from different walks of life. We've got whatever the different goals are. If it's real estate, if it's, I just want to get a nest egg, I just want to lose the weight. We've got examples, failure scenarios, success scenarios, action. It's all in there. You want to inspire your team to success using this. It's all specifics in there with examples of oxcart techniques for all of those things. But okay, let's say network marketing. That's actually a big market for this. And we all know that you're supposed to do your 3 threes, 3 new contacts a day, 3 follow-ups a day, those kind of things. So it's those specifics that are on there. So whatever your business, what you're supposed to do to sell more cars or real estate or whatever it might be, it's on there. My actual oxcart for my marriage is in the book. You'll read my failure scenario that brings me to tears when I read it. You'll read my success scenario. You'll read my personal daily actions. And I'll give you just one example. One of them is I'll do things for Michelle, that's my wife, just out of the blue for no reason whatsoever, nice things. One example, I made her a crab dinner last night. Now, she came home tired from work, and we had a crab dinner ready to go. I hate seafood. I can't stand the smell of crabs, and I loathe it. I can be gone somewhere. I can walk into the house 5 days later and know that she made seafood and scrub the place clean, mind you, but I can tell. So it's a sacrifice to me, but it's on my action plan because I read my failure scenarios, my success scenarios. Ain't no way I'm gonna let that go. I've been divorced. It sucks. It ain't gonna happen again. And Harley, you know, two major reasons why. Let me give you a quick example. Success scenario in there, because I love my wife. So that's one side. But you know, the other side, that was the carry. You know, the stick. She's an attorney, and she can take me for everything I've got.
That's awesome. Okay, I want to know if on your third page at any point it said marry an attorney.
I tell you, she is. I am smitten. I am head over heels in love with this woman. She is absolutely amazing. Oh, and I joke about the stick, although it's not funny. But the true reason is I know I hurt the person I love the most in the world, and I will not do. And no matter how, let's get real world, guys. Let's be real here. So I've just come off stage somewhere. I'm the guy, right? I just came off stage, and we're at the after party or whatever, and there's some young thing or whatever, as we also say down in Texas. Why am I going to be stupid? Well, which one's going to work more? The carrot or the stick? Depends on the situation, right? But part of it is I don't want to see that look in my amazing wife's eyes that I did something stupid. And that right there is a buzzkill, if you will. I ain't going to let it happen. It's so powerful to utilize both the failure scenario and the success scenario at the same time.
No, that I can't tell you how accurate that because what you're doing, and I told my son this from the youngest age. Every action you have, good or bad, has consequences. Every action has consequences.
Yep.
They can be awesome, incredible consequences. They can be short-term positive, short-term negative, life-altering.
Yeah.
And if you don't think through what those look like, even if it's in your mind, get the 3 pages out, right, Terry? Get the 3 pages out in your mind and say, all right, so here's the opportunity. Here's what it would look like if I did it, and here's what the results would be.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. And it's funny because the people I've done personal coaching with, so we've worked hard at it, and it's funny when they reach back out to me and go, is it natural to just apply the oxcart technique in your mind to pretty much everything? Like once you've learned it, once you've internalized it, it will help you reach every single goal you ever have for the rest of your flipping life. That's why, the personal coaching with me, it's got a dollar figure to it. It does.
Yeah.
If it changes every aspect, your finances, your health, your relationships forever, it's kind of worth it.
But in this case, the way I'm thinking of it though, Terry, is maybe a little bit different. It's actually turning decision making into goals in many cases.
Every decision is, isn't it?
It is, but I've never thought of it that way.
Right.
But you are, with every decision, you have a goal. Okay. Let's think of one of the most goofy ones in the world, because you kind of brought it up when you were talking about making dinner for your wife. Almost every single time that the question is, what are we having for dinner? And it can become a ridiculous argument at times, right? It just can be dumb.
Yeah.
But the goal, actually, let's be honest, the goal is just to be fed, to not be hungry anymore. That's the end result. All right. If you put this kind of technique in there, though, it's funny how you can go through and make it just a little bit easier Okay, who am I feeding? Because we got to get that, right? So let's think about it. Who is it going to be? Is it my family? Is it just me and my wife? Is it just me? Well, let me tell you, if it's just you, the decision might be a whole lot easier.
But
But when you go through that process and you have decided that you're going to, I'm going to give you guys an example. The sacrifice that Terry makes in this case by making his wife seafood is that he's going to fix something totally separate for himself because he's not going to eat that.
you got that right. Yep.
So it accentuates the sacrifice in the case where you are truly doing this for someone else, knowing that you're going to have to duplicate it in an essence for yourself as well. And when I say duplicate it, the process of fixing something else for dinner.
When there's a reek in the air that I really do not prefer. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's where I was fixing to go next. And still have an appetite.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it is all the same, but that's like my wife deciding she's going to have some broccoli and me still wanting to eat anything after the smell of broccoli's in the air. It's like, oh, I think I'm going to go outside and eat with the dogs, man.
Real. That's pretty good, actually, but that's a different story.
I guess if I had to hold my nose, maybe I could eat it. I don't know. Broccoli's one of those things. The smell of it just is, I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Well, there you go.
I love seafood, but I don't like the smell of it either. But I'll eat it because I like the.
I'm a survivalist. I'll eat anything, quite literally anything. So when I have to, but I don't prefer to.
Yeah, and so I'm glad you brought up the survivalist because that's where I actually wanted to go next in the process of this. You mentioned earlier that you were on a survival series. How in the world and you won. You just weren't on a survival series. You were on a survival series that was televised. It's probably not the biggest name one that you've heard out there, folks, but it was one that was out there. It was televised, and you won the thing. How did you use this technique in this time period? I'm not saying to win. I'm actually saying to survive. How in the world did you use this technique to survive, and then at the end of the day, use it to win the daggum thing?
I definitely used it, and here's how. So going into this thing, I was representing all of Boy Scouts of America in my Scoutmaster uniform. So winning, and I really honestly did not believe I'd had any chance of winning. I'm against all these special forces guys. I'm the Marine Scouts. I'm going against a Marine Scout sniper, military survival instructors, a 4th degree ninja black belt that I have seen on Naked and Afraid, except for the fuzzy parts. And I'm playing the role of the fat old Scoutmaster. I'm the oldest guy on the show. My wife's laughing at me. She said, "My God, you're the talk." Talk, what's that? You're the token old guy. Oh, great. Thanks, dear. I'm in my Scoutmaster uniform. Oh, it's so cute. They got the Boy Scout on there. Little neckerchief. He gonna die. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, do you think so? So I'm going into this thing. There's no chance I'm going to win. Okay, I got no delusions of grandeur here. But what I don't want is to embarrass all of Boy Scouts of America, because it was prime time on Fox Network. It was called Kicking and Screaming. So it was 10 survival experts. We each had a complete novice along with us. Somebody never even camped out in their backyard before. Okay, and so I'm representing all of Boy Scouts of America worldwide. They're all judging scouting by me. Everybody already seeing the failure scenario in here, the stick, okay? That I am embarrassed. Keep in mind, it's over a month in the jungle. I can't cuss. I can't say an off-color joke. I can't even jump on an off-color joke. Because if those cameras can be like, "Oh, look at the Boy Scout," right?
No pressure here, right?
No, I can't embarrass. So what that did for me, though, is leading up to it, and I had a very short time before I found out I was going to be on this show. And I've done a lot of stuff all around the world. Again, solo backpacking trip deep into the Arctic Circle, those kind of fun things. But I've never done survival in the jungle. So I did my failure scenario, my success scenario, And it motivated me. I found somebody to take me into the Amazon jungle to learn survival. Pulled over 100 ticks off me during that period of time. I found somebody that did, oh man, it was brutal. Loved it. I found somebody that did that bow drill fire starting better than I did out of Salt Lake. I flew in to meet with them and learn. I went to a personal trainer and I said, okay, you got just a very few short weeks to whip this old body into shape. Can you do it? And he basically looked me up and down with, can you? So I was in pain 24/7, but I had the power of the oxcart. If I do not do this, if I slack, I'm going to make Boy Scouts of America look bad. If I succeed, if I don't embarrass myself, then I'm going to make them look as good as I possibly can. Now, again, the fact that I won the show is very much also a part of, I had a really strong partner, direct opposite from me, which was the way the show was put up. But we learned how to work together. After fighting on national TV, we ended up working together and went into the whole dang show. That's the deal.
So let's go back to that for a second. In that you were matched with somebody. I'm guessing you hadn't met them previous to this, right? That was probably part of the deal.
Yeah.
Of course, y'all didn't get along at first, but you had to learn to get along. What background? Just curious. What background did they come from?
Okay, so she was a pink and blue hair, tattooed up, tongue ring, atheist, admitted sex addict, online video gamer. But let's be fair. They come up on the boat, they see all of us survivalists lined up. You got all these young stud special forces guys, all the other people that I explained, and the fat old scoutmaster. Can you imagine how she felt? He's like, don't give me the old guy. Don't give me the old Boy Scout. Oh no, right? And we fought. We got along, but I got to give scouting many plugs. Because again, first of all, we don't care. We do this with kids all the time, all different race, color, creed, religion, socioeconomic. We don't care their past. We don't care about their past. It's our job to turn them into honorable men and women. It's our job to find the goodness in each one of them, and it exists. That was my job with my partner right there. What I've been taught in Boy Scouts all along, in one of our training things that we do, adult training, best motivational / leadership training in the world in my book, we're taught 4 stages of team development. Forming, just getting together. Storming, fighting. Norming, starting to get along and performing. You must go through those 4 stages. So when we did our fight on national TV, and again, we're starving, guys. Well, I lost 25 pounds on the show. We're stressed. We are sleep deprived. Of course, we're going to go at it. Any group getting together goes through these stages. I was able to come back and go, Natalie, guess what? We're going through number 2. Because, yeah, we sure are. No, that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean. We can do this as long as you do it with love and respect. We worked through it like scouting taught me to do. And after we did, we became the most winning team on the entire show and ended up winning the whole stinking thing.
How open was she to these concepts? Both the ones that you kind of learned through scouting, and then, of course, through the oxcart technique. What were some of the fights about acceptance of those things, or not? Or was she, once you were able to actually vocalize these things, was she a little more open than you thought she would be to them?
I will say that she was very open to figuring out ways to work together.
Okay.
And by the end of it, she ended up calling me her jungle dad. And also of interest, because we talked after this, because in those side interviews like they do on those shows, they try to get you to talk bad about people and about each other and stuff. And we made a pact. I will not talk bad about you during those, in front of you or behind your back. I will not talk. I will only support you. That's all I will ever do.
Huge. That's huge. That's huge. No wonder you won. No, I'm sitting here saying, no wonder you won.
Yes. At the end of the show, and we all have things in our past, right? We've talked about that.
Sure.
And she's no exception. I don't know what all it is, but we all do. And near the end of the show there, we're having some time together. And she looked at me very just straight as could be. She says, "Thank you for always having my back." Like, okay, there's something there. And her mom even reached out to me after the show, which kind of blew me away. She said, "Thank you for always having my daughter's back." And you, Harlan, you pinpointed it again too. For some reason, it was definitely important to her. And no matter how many times they tried to bring us back to talking about the fight, we're like, we're not going back there. We're not going back there. That's in the past.
So the fact
Going to the future. So yeah, well done, man. Very insightful again on your part.
Well, thank you. It just, I mean, to me, that's such a huge deal. Once again, let's go back to business failure, goal setting, didn't make them failure. And while there's no doubt that we are our biggest naysayers and we're our biggest critics in most cases, hearing others talk bad about us, no matter what we want to say, hey, you and I both are from the time period of sticks and stones, right? Yeah, sticks and stones. Nah, you can say whatever you want to. Sticks and stones. Sticks and stones is a lie. Mm-hmm. Sticks and stones is a lie. It's a lie we tell ourselves that things other people say don't matter to us when there's almost nothing that matters more to us than what other people say.
Well said. 100% true. Yep. Whether we admit it to others or ourselves, 100% true. Yep.
And when you're told that, yeah, I'm not surprised you failed. When you're told that, no, you weren't good enough to do this to begin with, why'd you even try? When you're told, yeah, you probably just shouldn't even try anymore, just go back to doing whatever you were. Yeah. I mean, when you hear these things over and over, you can believe them. You begin to believe them. Kind of like you. I mean, there you were. You were at this point where you're like, well, I can't do it. The guy next door was right. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Until you got angry about it. Until you finally said, if there's one thing I don't do in this life, or one thing I can do in this life, is to make sure he's not right.
That's it.
If I don't do anything else, I'm going to make sure he's not right. Now, I have a question for you, though. This just kind of struck me. At that point, is what you had in mind, he's not going to be right, but I still don't know how I'm going to make him not right? Or did you actually have something right then where you said, I know exactly what I'm going to do? Because I personally think I know the answer, but was your only goal right then to make him not right?
First of all, I know exactly what I was supposed to do. We all know the steps. Knowing the steps is easy. I knew the stuff that I was supposed to be doing, but I didn't get out of my comfort zone. I let the naysayers hold me back and everything, So I knew what I was supposed to do. It just didn't seem like it was working for me because I wouldn't get out of my comfort zone because it was too painful for me to do so. It was too embarrassing. It was too humiliating. It was too. Until I had created something that was more painful. And that's what kicked me out of that comfort zone.
Yeah.
And into the conquer zone.
Yeah. So it really, the success at that time, before then, the success wasn't worth it.
Right. Exactly. Wasn't worth it. Wasn't worth the pain.
The carrot wasn't big enough. The whatever you want to say. Now, I want to be clear on this. This is not saying that you out there that have had this situation, or Terry himself, or myself whenever I failed at things, that's not saying we didn't want it. That's not saying we hadn't dedicated ourselves in some way, shape, or form to it and didn't work hard for it. It means that the steps that were really necessary for success were elusive because you weren't willing to get out of your comfort zone, because you weren't willing to take the steps to quantify what you were doing and to make sure to really have that follow-up to it, right? To have the accountability of it. Once again, there's the 3 pages there. And I know there's other ways that people say that you can do this. A lot of times they're pretty complex. But that's why I'm like, 3 pages? Man, he's not, there's 3 pages, right?
Yeah.
But I think the interesting part of this is kind of what we talked about before, is it can apply to anything. But how, and maybe this is kind of a little beyond the technique. This may be going into psychology or psychiatry. Or how have you got angry? You got angry and said, I'm not going to let him be right.
Yeah.
What does it take? I mean, I know it's different for different people, but is any part of this process the psychology or psychiatry of getting to that point of, are you tired of failing? Do you get to the underlying reason why this has happened? What is your neighbor next door? I'm going to put it that way. What is your neighbor next door in this process for people? Is that part of the process, or is that something a little beyond it?
No, it is. It is. And that, by the way, I need to clarify, it wasn't actually the neighbor right next door to us. He was down a different street, but
that's all right.
Yeah. Just for the people who are listening to this from my old neighborhood. No, they were dear people. We're good.
No, it was you, Hal. You were next door, Hal. We know it was you.
It's kind of funny. If we can talk about all these psychological issues, and I am not a psychiatrist, psychologist, etc. Okay, I'm just a guy. But we can talk all about these things, and yet, if we are inspired enough, if we are emotional enough, none of them matter. For instance, we have heard the stories of the mom whose child is trapped underneath a car. No way in the world she is strong enough to pick up that car. That doesn't matter. All that matters is her child's under that car. Not long ago in the news, a dad killed a bear with a piece of firewood that was attacking his son. There's no way in the world he can do it. He had all these reasons, all these excuses, valid or not, why he can't, why he shouldn't, etc. None of them matter if you are emotional enough, if you're harnessing your emotion. And that's exactly what this does. My theory, if you will, but it's been proven into actuality, is if you provide enough emotion for yourself, that you are creating yourself, not put on by somebody else. You've created these scenarios yourself, then screw everything. Forget everything else. It's not going to matter anymore if you've done this right. And when I'm doing this in a group setting where, I've got a large room full of people, I have them write out their scenarios. And it is often, more often than not, that I will have, I don't care what grown man, bulky, whatever, tears strolling down his cheeks, because we're doing the marriage one. He's doing his failure scenario and it's ripping his heart out. And I tell people, if you've got that kind of emotion going on, you're doing it right. Nothing else is going to matter or get in the way anymore. And I did want to say this too. A lot of times, well, at the goal, I don't have enough time. No, you've got the time to do the things that are comfortable, not enough to do the things that are uncomfortable. All this making sense, Harlan?
Yeah, absolutely. And man, I love what you just said right there, because there, especially in kind of the world that I live in as far as an entrepreneur, whatever I do it doesn't matter. Entrepreneurs all over the place. You can be doing almost anything as an entrepreneur, but there's really not a bigger asset that you have, or bigger time. Time is it.
Yeah.
And so time is what, and people say, oh no, it's money as well. No, it's not. No, there's no doubt that has a place there, but time is what it really is, because time, not money, is the excuse we use for not doing things.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got time. You're just not using it. That's in the book too. I'll give some really, I think, great examples, but it really do have some specific examples in the book of exactly what you're saying there. That time is never the actual, rarely the actual problem. It's your use of the time. We waste, I forget the exact stats, it's in the book, but an enormous amount of hours every single week, enough where you could accomplish any goal if you got rid of the time wasters. And it gives examples of how to do that. And in coaching, we take people through that as well.
And that, I think that's the key, is if you stay in your current comfort zone, which is your schedule of what you do, in this case, you do not have enough time.
Right. Right.
But that's part of it, right? That is part of getting out of your comfort zone. The one thing that we know is not going to happen is we're not going to get more than 24 hours in a day. So when you put that calendar out there daily, you don't get an extra one. Okay. Yeah. Even when you do get that extra one, they take it away another time here later in the year, right? And so that's if you're going to be one of those, well, but there's a day. I'm like, yeah, there is a day you get 25, but then you get 23 another day. So don't worry about it. Let's just go with 24. All right. But the bottom line there is, if you're not willing to adjust that schedule and make time for something that is out of your comfort zone instead of the things that are just in your comfort zone, let's go back to what Einstein says, right? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
That's it. And then there's a technique in the book that helps you identify your time wasters. It's a really, really good one. I'll save that for the book. But it helps you identify how you're misusing that time every single day and helps you bring that back. And again, very simple. Everything I do, it's got to be very simple. If it ain't simple, we ain't going to do it. That's all there is to it. So it is very simple. It helps you see, okay, here's where I'm blowing it. And here's where I can pull that time to, again, you really can accomplish any goal. I don't care what it is. You really can do it. That's not just hype, smoke, and mirrors, from a motivational speaker. It's true God's honest fact is what it is. This teaches you how to do it.
So, Terry, you have a lot of resources out on your personal website as well, terrylfossum.com. And you talked earlier, of course, about the goalsecret.com, but this is a different website, folks, called obviously terrylfossum.com. And there's a lot of information out there. As I was kind of checking it out earlier, there's blogs out there. There is more information about his story. You can actually go out there and get Terry to be a guest on your show if you're a podcaster and you would like Terry to come on and talk to your audience. You can certainly do that as well. You also have a way people can reach out to you for coaching, right? To work with.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for those people who are serious about it. Now, I'll admit there's a price tag to it for a good reason. Because if you do not put into it, you're not going to do it. You're not going to get anything out of it. I've learned that. For the folks I just, okay, here, check it out for free. They don't do it, okay? We don't appreciate it. We don't take action. And quite frankly, I only want to work with the people who are serious, Yeah. Now, it's going to be a few $1,000 now. It's less than 10. But are you going to make that back when you reach your business goals? More than, right? Or if you don't get divorce is expensive. Or if you save on your healthcare costs, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, you will. And I worked really hard on this, Arlen. I really did. Some fantastic video coaching that's taking you through every aspect of this. And then we're doing weekly group calls too, which is an advantage because then you can hear other people's questions, what they're going through. We're all working together. And it really is life-changing for the people who are on board with it. And that's guaranteed, of course, for these serious folks. So if you're serious about wanting to reach those financial goals, building that nest egg, the big ones that rip my heart out, and it happened just recently, we saved another marriage. It was both the husband and the wife were on there. Husband had never done anything like this before. And got them working together, talking together, and ripped my heart out. Whatever it is. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing for those who are serious about doing it.
I think that there's a lot. So there's no doubt there's that step. But I want to point out that everyone we bring on the show, and Terry is absolutely part of this as well, everyone is willing to share so much with no price tag, with none. I mean, just think about the fact that you can go out there and check out his TED Talk. Once again, it reached all the way to number 2 in the world. You don't have to purchase his book, but you can read and catch things from the blogs and catch things like he shares here on this podcast and so many other places there out on his website where you can get the ideas and concepts, maybe even give it a little bit of a try and see, well, let's just try something easy. let's go with tonight's dinner, right?
The goalsecret.com has got some really great free stuff that they're putting together right now while we're recording this. Actually, I got somebody putting this together right now, so hopefully by the time it's released, they'll have it done. A lot of great free content, video content, written stuff that's really helps take you through it. Yeah, thegoalsecret.com as well.
And that's my point, is you're not out there to just make a buck. You're out there to help change the world to be a better place. You're to help entrepreneurs and individuals that are struck with marriages, people, weight loss, all of those things to help people. And it doesn't have to cost you extra money. Yes, you can take those extra steps, but you're willing to give so much of yourself out there to help others. And then when they're ready to take those next steps, you're ready to help them even get further, to even accomplish more.
Absolutely. Because I know there's people out there like me, who are, this is what just keeps me going and doing this when I don't have to. All right. I know there's people out there like me who have tried. They've learned all they can. They've tried and failed, whatever we're talking about here. I know there's people out there crying right now because it's just not working. And I want to reach those people. So yeah, you're 100% correct again, man.
So think about this. If you're listening to this today, and as we've gone through this process, it's stirred up emotional thoughts through you of failures that you've had, regardless of what they were. Business, life, it doesn't make any difference what it was. A failed relationship, maybe a relationship that's on the edge of failure, maybe something that is, and it doesn't even have to be with a spouse, folks. Maybe your relationship with your children or with your parent or with your sibling is right there on the edge of what you would consider unrepairable. Maybe it is at the place where you feel it is unrepairable. It doesn't have to be. Like, there is processes and ways out there that really don't include tens of thousands of dollars of psychiatric care. Yeah. It doesn't include, going and find you a guru in the Himalayas. There's other things you can do. There's steps you can take to change your life in a positive way. And I have to tell you, Terry, I am so happy that we were able to connect and have you on here, because I believe that the techniques that you can offer, the techniques that are there in the Oxcart technique book, can help a lot of people out there.
I appreciate that. I'm it means a lot coming to somebody like you that's been out there and really doing your best to make a difference in the world and help people. I appreciate that. All right.
You are very welcome, sir. And it has truly been my honor to have you on here. I wish you all the best and hope you reach as many people as possible with the incredible story that you have.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. Appreciate your help in doing that. So guys, you got this. I don't care what you've been through, what you're going through, any of that, man. The past doesn't equal the future. You've heard that. But I'm a living example. There's a whole lot more that are living examples as well. You got this. Just get up one more time.
Folks, go out. Thegoalsecret.com. Thegoalsecret.com. Check that out. Go out to Terry's website, terryelfosom.com. Go and check it out. There's videos there to watch. There's blogs to read. If you're not sure that you want to reach out to him personally yet, I promise you'll have all types of opportunities to learn more about him and his incredible story and how he can help you change your life in a positive way too. Thank you again, Terry, for being on, man. It has been quite a pleasure.
Mine too, sir. Get out there and go get 'em.
You got it, buddy. Every single day. All right, folks. Thanks for being with us on the Health and Wealth Power Hour. I hope you enjoyed this very impactful episode. We'll keep doing our best to bring folks to you that can change your life in a positive way. Don't forget, if you want to catch me on some of my other events, then every Monday you can get me on the Kickstart, where I talk about all the different things going on in the healthcare and health insurance world, making sure you're up to date on trends and news. You never know when the next big thing's going to come out. Want to make sure that you're up to date on all of that. And of course, once a month, We're kind of changing the dates every now and then, but it's usually the last week of the month. Sometimes some of these events that I'm speaking at cause me to be gone, but the last week of every month, you got it. Why does healthcare suck? That's right. Why does healthcare suck? We dig into all the craziness of the healthcare world and talk about how you can avoid all the pitfalls that are out there, because, ladies and gentlemen, our healthcare system is such a convoluted, crazy mess. We want to make sure that you get the absolute best care that you possibly can, quality care at affordable prices. That's it, baby. That's what we're all looking for. Thanks again for being on the Health and Wealth Power Hour. We'll catch you next time. We are out of here.